this thing on? Hello, my friends, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Natasha. This is my YouTube. It's all about wellness. It's all about the pursuit of happiness, breaking limitations, and setting goals that seem nauseating. And so if that's your vibe, I hope you stick around and you enjoy some other video content. I do post every Thursday at 6 p.m. PST because I'm in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. If you're from Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, hello. Let's hang out if we don't already. Today I'm going to be focusing in on answering some frequently asked questions that I get for fitness, for food, mental health, and then personal. I will have chapters set up, so I don't know how I'm going to set them up. I haven't edited this yet, but you'll see the chapters below. And if you don't care to hear about food, you can skip that. If you don't care to hear about personal, which would be a shame, you can skip that. I'm going to start with fitness. There's a couple of them that are really, really silly, but I'm going to give a quick overview for the newcomers here. My training has changed quite drastically in the past 3, now in the 4th week, so 4 weeks. I was marathon training. I'm going to be doing a marathon in October now. I was supposed to be doing it in May, and then it sold out before I got a spot. And yes, I did try to book early. We're gonna just move on from that. There's a whole video on it. If you wanna go check that out, you can. I was very sad that day that I found out that I couldn't be running this thing that I had been prepping for 4 months of my life. Anywho, so we still have run training, and I am going to have an actual timed goal for the Victoria Marathon in Canada here. However, my training is going to be encompassing a few other things while I'm also doing run training until I go into full marathon prep again, and I will start marathon prep in a month or 2. So right now I have athletic style training, which is more CrossFit style endurance training, and it's about 45 minutes to an hour once per week. I have running training. I have 4 days of running a week. I have 2 sessions that are zone 2. I have 1 session that is like tempo style, so it starts in zone 2 and it ends in zone 2, but the midsection is work. So it's like a workout run. You're doing intervals, whatever that might mean to each individual person. And then I have 1 long run, which is zone 2. So it's anywhere from an hour and a half to 3 hours of running, which is going into a whole different system altogether. And strength, yes, strength training. So I'm doing 2 strength sessions a week, and it's true strength sessions. So pushing my lifting capabilities as they stand at this time. My main lifts that I'm focusing in on are squat, deadlift, and pull-ups. And then of course the rest of the exercises that are paired in there are also heavy weight, pushing my body's abilities and capabilities. I am so excited to be having those back in, and I do find that the strength training highly benefits the other training. So I'm happy to be doing it, but my training is a lot right now. I can do this solely because I have been training, like physically active training, for the past 10 years. And having done a bodybuilding competition last year and then going straight into marathon prep right after that, my body's ability is a lot different than it was 2 years ago. So one of the questions that I got was, you train a lot, is that okay? Should we be looking to do the same thing? What are your suggestions? So if this were me 2 to 3 years ago, the amount that I'm training right now, no, it would not be okay. I could work up to it, absolutely. And that's exactly what I did this past 2 years, 3 years of my life. I've been working really hard, and I've been training really hard, and my body has adapted. And because of those adaptations, I've been able to go into this type of training, this intensity of training, without it being detrimental to me. Should you be doing it? That is completely dependent on you, how you've been training, who you are. I believe anybody could work up to this amount of training and this volume of training if that's something that was worthwhile to them, but it might not be, right? I enjoy athletic training. I enjoy strength training. I love running. Like these are all things that make me very happy. And I find the gym and movement a very safe way for me to challenge my personal limitations that I've set for myself. And so for me, like movement is so much more than just movement. And also, I'm just really curious to see what I'm actually capable of. I've never really leaned into it. I've kind of copped out a lot, to be honest, throughout my life, with this idea or notion that no, I couldn't possibly do that. It's like, well, I don't know. I don't know that I couldn't run a marathon. I've now ran a marathon distance, so I can run a marathon, just to be clear. I haven't ran a race yet. I'm very excited for that. But I ran a marathon distance, which means I'm capable of doing it. My whole life I told myself I wasn't because of injuries. So anyways, should you be doing it? That is completely personal to you. It also depends on your training style, how long you've been training. There's a difference between this becoming harmful, like it's a fine line between it becoming a self-sabotage and sabotaging your progress, and it being okay. And you have to really know where that is. I feel really good here. So it's good for me. I don't know if it's good for you. I hope that helps. Somebody else asked me what my training split is. So I already mentioned this, but I'll just take it through the week and I'll make this super quick. So I do 2 double days a week, which means I do a run in the morning, and then a little bit later I do a gym workout in the same day. Those are my strength days, and those are my zone 2 run days. So I do a zone 2 run, and then I go and do a lower body strength session, and then a zone 2 run and an upper body strength session. And then I will take a day off. Right now my rotation is 4 workouts, day off, 4 workouts, day off. Because the double days are a total of 4 workouts, you get the day off after 2 days, and then the other workouts are 1 a day. And then I get a day off. So my weeks are silly. It's not a 7-day window of time, and it completely changes when the start of my week is and when the end of my week is, which I actually kind of like. I do have a bit of flexibility right now, because the summer months, just there's so many things happening and so many events happening. So I'm just letting myself enjoy life. And if I have to shift by a day, I have to shift by a day. Some weeks are 6-day weeks, some weeks are a 10-day week. It's just what it is. As long as I get that training in and I'm making progress, I am happy, because technically I'm not in a true program right now. The next question is, who is programming me? Do I have a coach? Would I recommend a coach? I'm programming me right now. I have had many coaches. I love coaches. I am a coach. So yeah, of course I love coaching. I'm a huge advocate for seeking out support. I don't feel as though I need a coach for this period of time, mainly because I'm just testing my own limitations. So I feel very safe in my programming. I feel very safe in challenging myself. I know what works for me through working with several coaches throughout time. And I feel as though if I was making no progress, or I was getting continuously injured, or no progress would be plateauing, or I was having a hard time getting into it, then I would hire a coach, but none of those are true for me. So right now, I'm programming me, I'm coaching myself. On the days that I'm struggling, I call in help, aka I ask my partner, Joseph, to do workouts with me, because he's a beast, and so it makes me work harder. Most days, I don't need that though, and I feel very good showing up for my training. I've built a lot of trust in myself, in my body. I have a very good inner compass because of all the work that I've done and continue to do. I am not at my potential yet, no. I don't know if I can get there by myself, but for right now, I'm going to work by myself, and then I will definitely hire a coach again. It's just timing and meeting the right person. I've come to realize that a coach is a very personal decision, and having somebody who can reach you in the hardest moments and not just shame you or you know, let you off the hook, but be able to like sit with you in it and like see you and then get you moving again. That is such a special partnership to have. And I've had it before with a coach, and I know I'll have it again in the future. I would be really, really, really stoked to work with a female coach, because I've yet to do that. My dance coaches were female, but not with gym, running, or sport outside of dance. So, yeah. Okay, moving right along. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go into personal, to make this a little bit more fun. So somebody asked me what injuries, if any, I'm dealing with right now, and I know that's kind of fitness, but it's kind of not. And I can't really show you unless I change my shirt, but I'll explain it. So right here and right here, and I don't know if this is the type of injury you're looking to hear about, but this is the one I'm struggling with. I have what I would call like rug rash, but from my arm rubbing on the fabric of my sports bra and shirt on a half marathon distance run we went on a few days ago. It is so painful. Like it's actually raw. The skin there is like none. There's none. And I went for a run this morning and worked out, and I sweat, and the sweat got into it, and it was just on fire. It was horrible. So that is the injury that I'm dealing with right now. I know that you're probably wondering, like asking me about maybe like a knee injury or something. I don't have anything like that. And then the other one that I have, which is kind of gross, and I don't know if you'll even be able to see this, but I actually split the bottom of my foot, and the entire area around it is just struggle busing. I'm always on my feet, and this just isn't, it's just not going away. I mean, it is healing now, but it's so slow and it's so painful. If you can avoid having a crack in your foot at all costs, I would highly recommend it. When do you want to have children, if you want to have children at all? Okay, I want to have children. Yes, I do. I have no idea when that's going to happen. And I get asked this a lot because I'm in my 30s. So it's not that I don't want to have kids, like me not having them right now. That's not the point. There's just a lot of things that I want to do prior to having kids. If I got pregnant by whatever chance, it would be fine. Like it's not one of the situations where my life would fall apart and I would be sad or angry or frustrated. If I were to get pregnant, it would be fine. I would like to not get pregnant for a little while longer, and I'd like to continue to pursue these self-driven goals and get some more lessons downloaded and become an even better person, so that when my kids come in, they feel safe being whoever they are. So that's where we're at. Yes, kids. Yes, kids. I don't know how many. The second part to this was, when are you guys getting married? Holy heck. Okay. Joseph and I will get married. We will. I have no doubt in my mind. It has not happened yet because we've been just going through life. Like him and I, it hasn't even been a thing where like I'm sitting here wondering, when is he going to propose? Or he's wondering if I would say yes. It's like, I will say yes and he will propose and it's going to happen. And I have zero worries in my mind at all about that. I would love to be able to go on a big trip, him and I, and go explore the world for our honeymoon and have a smaller wedding. And that just isn't in the cards right now. I'm not proposing though. I'm making that very clear. It's not gonna be me. Joseph, if you're watching, it's not gonna be me. We're gonna go into mental health. We're gonna go into mental health. As someone who struggled with depression their whole life, and talked about it many times, do you still struggle with depression? How do you cope with it, if so? So I did struggle with depression, I still have lows that come up. I'm not scared of them anymore, and I'm not, how do I want to word this? I'm not resistant to them. Like, I'm not trying to force myself out of them, and I'm not trying to make myself better. I find I lean into them more, and I listen to myself more, like what my body and mind are really asking of me. And most of the times when I'm going into a low, and it's pretty cyclical actually, so it's pretty routine now. And I think I actually think it always was routine, but now I'm aware of it, so familiar. I find when it happens, I know that it's coming, and then I also find ways that I can still be a part of life and progressive and still make like positive changes in my day-to-day or check things off without having to do so much. So there's times when I have like all the energy in the world and I feel great and I can get through anything, and I'm like the Energizer Bunny. And those are like my high energy task days. Like, I focus in on those things. And then when I am feeling low, I respect and honor that, and I do the low energy tasks. I guess now I'm navigating it much different in the way of I am familiar with it, I respect it, I honor it, and I listen to what my needs are at that time. And I feel so peaceful when I'm in it. I feel more peaceful all around in my life, but yeah, I just feel peaceful. Whereas before I felt hopeless. So maybe it's less depression and just low energy, but it's cyclical, so it is something that is likely genetic. My mom's side, almost everybody has something going on mental health wise, so wouldn't be surprising. Just I don't know if that's helpful, but I hope it is to somebody, to literally anybody. Okay, food. Can I start food by saying how happy it makes me that so many people are triggered by the way I eat vegetables? I eat peppers like apples, like an actual like red pepper, yellow pepper, orange pepper. I eat them like apples. I also eat broccoli like steamed, so it's cooked, but I'll eat broccoli, just open the container, I'll just eat it by hand, and I won't warm it up or put anything on it. I love it. And I've posted this a few times, and people ask me like what happened to me as a child that made me like this. I think it's honestly just because I'm lazy. It just makes me happy. Food wise, I do not know what my calories are. I do track my energy levels, and if I find that I am quite low energy on a irregular day, meaning like it's not in my cycle of low energy or my luteal phase of my period, then the likelihood is I have not eaten enough food. I do work out a lot, as you already know. I'm also an entrepreneur, and I take Luna, our dog, for walks every single day. So I do need to be making sure I'm getting enough calories in for my goals, and so that I can actually, athletically perform the way that I want to. I would say my calorie intake needs to range anywhere from like 2,200 to 2,400 calories a day. And I don't track right now. I tracked for years. Like I feel pretty confident in the choices I'm making food wise. I also am dairy free, so somebody actually asked me that as well. Do you have any food limitations? Would you recommend removing any foods from your diet? As a nutritionist, I would recommend, if you can, get allergy testing and sensitivity testing with food done. I would do it. It's the best thing that you could possibly do for yourself. And then I would slowly, not all in one go, but slowly start to remove the foods that you're eating that you are sensitive to or allergic to, because those are causing issues internally that you might not even feel anymore, but as you start to remove them and how you start to feel over time, you will start to realize how bad it really was. So that's my recommendation. I removed dairy. I will have it every once in a while now, but I've removed dairy because I'm actually allergic to dairy. So I'm not lactose intolerant, but I'm allergic to it, meaning I get eczema response in my skin when I eat dairy. And it starts small, but it goes all over if I continue to, and it's uncomfortable. But if I'm getting an eczema response in my skin, I can only imagine what else is happening in my body. And now that I've removed it, and whenever I do have it, I get that response, but I also feel all of the other things that were likely happening that I was just used to before when I was eating it all the time. So that was a little bit silly. But that's not for everybody. Some people can eat dairy, and it's so good for them and their genetics and their microbiome. And so everybody's unique. This is what I will say with food. Everybody is unique. The calories that you need to be intaking, the macros you need to be intaking are going to be specific to you. They're going to be specific to how much muscle you have on your body, how much you move your body, how much you fidget throughout the day. Like, all of these things have to be taken into account. And so do yourself a favor and give yourself some grace when it comes to food. Please give yourself some grace when it comes to food. There's so many people online that talk at you and tell you how you should be eating, and I think it's absolutely wild that anybody thinks that one way is best for 7 billion people. I get it that it's exciting to find a way of eating and discover something that works really well for you. I know that's exciting, but just because it works for you does not mean it's going to work for every other person. And then the people who try it and it doesn't work for, that can bring more shame and disappointment and frustration, and it just continues this really horrible cycle. I am all for conversation. I am all for conversation, but that means speaking and listening to hear and understand, not to be right. So if you want to share your journey, please do, always. But share it as your journey. And you know, if somebody has never tried it before, I highly recommend trialing and erroring stuff, for sure, absolutely, as long as you know that it's not going to be harmful to you in the long run. That's my 2 bits on food. I'm not going to go too deep on this because, again, everybody is very unique when it comes to food. And we'll leave it at that. I'm so happy that you joined me for this, if you did. And again, I hope that this is helpful to somebody. And if there's a topic that you'd like me to talk more on, I'm very happy to talk about it. I am. Food, mental health, fitness, financial, you know, love, whatever it might be. I'm so happy to talk on it. I think that conversation is really important. We learn from communicating, and that's how we find true solutions for people. That's all I got for you. So thanks for joining me again. If you're new here, subscribe. There will be a new video next week. It will not be on Thursday. It will likely be on Sunday or Monday, because it's my birthday coming up and we're going to the Sunshine Coast. And I'll take lots of videos and pictures and everything for that. And you can just see how we do on a deload week on the coast in beautiful Vancouver Island, British Columbia. You are so much more powerful than you will ever know, and I'm so excited for us to keep discovering that together.